welcome to the January 2017 Houston Clutter Coaching Meetup group. My name's Gayle Goddard. Say hi, everybody.
Hi.
We have a big January group again. Yay. Tonight's topic is Ready, Set, Go. Organize to streamline your daily life. This is my commercial time. I do this for a living, and my business is called the Clutter Fairy. And you're already, if you're watching the video, you're already on my YouTube channel. But there's a whole bunch more videos out there. So if you need help, you can listen to me talk a whole lot. Otherwise, there's things to read on the blog, and I'm available to hire in the Houston area. If you have a lot of money to throw around, you can fly me somewhere and I'll come help you too. Otherwise, I'm in Houston, working in Houston, right? Okay, so tonight we are going to talk about, very specifically, the way that clutter sort of gets in the way of you getting out the door in a stress-free and non-frazzled way, which is why I'm talking about organizing your daily life. And I remember as a little kid, how many of you drink coffee? A lot of coffee in the morning, people, right? Coffee or tea. I remember that when I was a kid, my dad was the night owl in the house, and my mother would be in bed at 10, and my dad would still be up. So it was his job to turn on the dishwasher and to set the coffee for the next day, right? That was pre-Keurig, so there wasn't a machine you could just slap it and go. You had to like get the thing out, the filter and the coffee grounds and the whole nine. And he would do that every night before he went to bed. And being the new night owl in the house, I would occasionally see this taking place. And it was something that he did because my mother was going to get up and she was trying to corral us to get us out to school, and she needed coffee to start the day. She was a morning person, but without the coffee it wasn't really working very well. So it was part of how they made the household run in the morning, was having the coffee going. Those kinds of processes are ways that you can make your life work better when you get out of the house. You see it on television a lot in movies. People are sort of scrambling to get to work in the movies, and they're always like hopping around trying to get their shoe on, and they're scrambling through the clothes looking for the shirt that they want, and they're trying to find their keys in their phone, and it's all this big frenetic activity to get out of the house. And if you're like me in the morning, you have a window that's this big of time, and if you mess up one thing, you have overrun your time and you're going to be late, right? Like, no one builds in "I've lost the phone" into their morning routine. And so if you don't have that time slot available and you suddenly can't find your shoes, you can't find the phone, you can't find the keys, what happens? You panic, you get frantic, you start running around throwing things. "I can't find the phone, where's the phone?" As people start yelling, it makes it a very stressful, like I'm getting stressed out talking about it. It's a very stressful way to start your day, right? One of the things that we're going to talk about, please come in. We're going to talk about the ways that you can smooth that process out so that you can benefit from starting your day in a stress-free way. Lots of people say if they launch their day badly, the whole rest of the day is terrible, right? And there's some science to that. Like, if you wake up and get all frantic, it's kind of hard to recenter yourself all the rest of the day. You sort of have to throw that one in the can and start over the next day. So if you can launch yourself in a stress-free way, it will make your day go much smoother, and you'll be a happier person and a more successful you, and that's what we're aiming for, right? Okay. So, what's the first thing you do once you're up besides get coffee? You go and you try to get yourself clean, right? Whatever that routine looks like for you, whether you're you shower in the morning or you shower the night before, you're going to have to go and wash your face and brush your teeth and fix your hair, because my hair when I wake up is like, right? You got to do some action to be presentable to go outside. So there's a whole bathroom routine, right? So I've been in a lot of bathrooms where I go in and look at the counter and think, how on earth does this person get dressed in the morning? Because it's a mound of stuff over the, right? Like, there's the sink. So the worst one, and I apologize if you know yourself as I describe you, I'm sorry. But it's the sink like this that's round, and then the stuff starts at the edge and goes up to the wall. And it's like, how possibly get to the piece of makeup that's at the bottom on the right when it's got a foot of stuff on top of it? I don't understand how she gets ready. So, and we've actually been dialing it down, and after we did it for a while, I could finally see countertop, and I was like, whoa, countertop, right? There are a lot of people who live with that level of chaos on top of the counter, which means that when you go and stand in front of the sink to brush your teeth, it's like, where's the toothbrush, where's the toothpaste? The worst is little kids, right? When I see little kids' bathroom counters, because they like grab the toothpaste in the middle and squeeze it, and they never put the cap on again, and then they lay it down and there's toothpaste oozing out of it, and it's on top of a bunch of other stuff, so there's toothpaste going into this stuff, right? You may or may not have grown out of that habit as an adult, but basically when it's total chaos like that, the idea of standing there, you've barely woken up, you have had 2 sips of coffee, your brain is not on, and you're supposed to find the toothpaste and the mouthwash and the stuff in the sea of chaos, that would make me super stressed like right off the bat. So this is one of those places where if you want to have a stress-free morning, you want to clear that counter off, right? And for some people, I'm asking a big job. I get it. I get that that's a project. This person that I described, it took 3 appointments to uncover the counter. So that was a 9-hour job, just to dial it down and sort through it all and let her make her keep toss decisions, what's staying, what's going. And because there was so much volume in that and the drawers that were down there, it took a long time to get through it. So I recognize that it might be a big project to clear the counter off. But if you clear the counter off, then you can put your deodorant there and your favorite toothpaste and toothbrush and the perfume that you put on every morning. You can have the hair products that you use every day, as opposed to the 57 hair products that you try and hate and leave on the counter. You can have the hairspray and the hair gel or whatever you use every morning, or not, as the case may be. Looking at a bald guy. Thank you. It's a way for you to take the exact things that you use every day, make sure they're on the counter, and make sure that you can find them. The biggest offender, I think, for counter clutter is makeup. So this isn't really a guy problem, but makeup plus nail stuff all over the counter in a sea. And women buy makeup in packs, right? Like we don't just buy one mascara, we buy 47 kinds, and it all ends up on the counter. So no one is actually wearing all that makeup simultaneously. And a lot of that makeup, right? A lot of that makeup is stuff that you're only going to put on when you go out to dinner at night, when you're going to go do something fancy, right? So you have the whole fancy makeup set, depending on how young you are. And then you have the daily wear stuff, which is stuff you get out all the time. Well, that's a much smaller pack, right? So A, clear the counter. B, put your every daily use, here's my hair, here's my teeth, here's my face, here's my makeup, and make that be a small collection that you use all the time. If you have to go fishing in a drawer for a piece of makeup one day because today you're meeting the president of the board, okay. But most mornings you're just going to go and sit at your desk, or you're going to go put your uniform on and walk around the hospital, or you're going to whatever you're going to do, and you don't need the whole shebang, right? Leave the stuff on top that you use every day. Get the rest of it off in something else. Get it into the cabinets, get it up in the medicine cabinet. Which reminds me, the other thing that's on everybody's countertops in the bathroom is meds. So the older you are, the bigger that collection is. Let me just say, mine is kind of growing a little bit, right? You get it when you're young, you never have to have any, and then there's a point where you start having to have them, right? And then that gets to be a bigger and bigger pile. And it sort of gets thrown in the counter because you're supposed to take it every day, right? And you lose control of it. So A, it should be containerized. All the meds are in one thing. And B, it should be the stuff that you're taking all the time, not the spare extras. Here's all my over-the-counter stuff that I only need when I have an allergy attack, or I only need when you know what I'm saying? Like there's a million meds that you keep just in case. Those should not live on the counter, okay? So counter is a work zone. Think of it as a work zone. You're working to make yourself fabulous, right? And presentable for public consumption. And you want that countertop to be clear with only the stuff that you use every day. Now for some people, imagining that is kind of shocking. Can you guys imagine that? Is that something that seems achievable? Okay, no panic, strict. I haven't been in your bathroom. I don't know what it looks like in yours.
It's already there.
Okay, good. That's good.
We wear very little makeup.
That's true, right? Not a lot of makeup in your house. Oh, here's the other one that women do. There's jewelry all over the counter. Right? I heard all this. Oh, right. Women like grab they take the jewelry and they throw it on the counter at night when they're going to bed, right? And it all just ends up in a soup on the counter. Part of the reason that countertop took so long to clear was because there was so much jewelry in there that we had to like separate and match the earrings up and untangle the necklaces, and that's a big mess. So bathroom counter, bad place for jewelry. Let me just say, first off, jewelry, it needs its own thing, right? It needs its own little parking space or big parking space, depending on how big your collection is, not on the countertop. Now there's some people that like, they wear the same watch every day, or they're wearing the wedding ring, they're wearing their mother's necklace, or whatever. You may have 2 or 3 things you wear every day without fail. Those can have a little parking space on the counter. But all the rest of it needs to live somewhere else, because it's just going to get in the way, it's just going to make more soup, and eventually one of your earrings is going to go down the bathroom sink and you're going to be so unhappy, right? So another thing to clear off the counter. Containers, meds, Okay. So what's the next thing you have to do? Now you're all clean and smelling lovely. You have to
feed the dog.
Oh, that's in there. I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So the next step is to get dressed, right? So how many of you can get into your closet? Yeah, not a lot of hands, let me just say. That's typical, first of all.
Which closet?
Which closet? So the main closet you want to get dressed in, and it's one of the ways that is stressful if you can't find your clothes. If you're rooting around in there trying to find the shirt that goes with those pants, if you can't find the second shoe, right? Like everybody's decided they're going to wear this shoe and they can't find the other one, and you spend 30 minutes looking in there and you're like doing like this trying to find the other shoe. How many of you have gone to work with a black and a blue shoe on? Right? I've done that in my career, and it's a function of the shoes are not together in the closet, right? And in the frantic grab, it's dark in the morning and you're in the closet, and oh, that must be it. And you put it on, and then you get out of your car at work and go, damn, right? There's nothing you can do about it. It's too late, right? So that's one of the ways that your morning is stressful. When you get out of the car and realize you're a mismatch and people are going to make fun of you all day, that stresses you out, right? So this is getting access to the closet and making the closet useful for you so you can get ready in the morning is really important. So the first thing is you got to be able to get to it. So clear the path to the door. A lot of people can't actually get to the door. Second, you got to be able to open the door and step into the closet. That's another project, right, to clear the floor space. For some reason, when people are in a hurry, he's laughing back there.
That's why the married couple is separated.
This is your idea.
Yeah, right. Busted, right? So when you go into the closet and you can't walk on the floor, there's a seat. I guess people get undressed and they sort of, I don't want to hang the clothes up, and it sort of goes on the floor, right? And then you're sort of you don't want to step on your clothes, and then you can't quite get into the closet. Once you cover the floor, it just backs up. You're just backing your way out of the closet, right? You can't get into it. So if you clean nothing in your closet, clean the floor where you can walk into the full length of your closet. Now some people are because they have, it's not a walk-in closet, then you just need the whole path clear so you can open and close the doors and you can reach in and see. But if it's a walk-in closet, that's just another floors trying to be covered up, right? So uncover it, step one. That'll make your day easier. B, you want to sort the clothes in such a way that it facilitates you getting dressed. So let me explain that a little bit. So if you're somebody that wears suits to work, like he's got a suit on, right? So if you're wearing suits and dress shirts that came from the dry cleaners, all those clothes should be in the same place in the closet, right? I wear a uniform, I wear scrubs when I go to work with people, right? So in my closet, all my scrubs are in one place. They're not mixed in with all my other casual clothes. They're not mixed in up and down the railing. They're all in one. Here's the designated get dressed area, and it's close to the door because I have a big walk-in closet. But the stuff that's at the end of the closet in the dark, I'm not wearing that every day. There's no point in that. That's long-term storage back there. The stuff that I have to get every day is right in the door and in one place. If you are somebody that is retired and you're staying at home, you still have clothes that you put on for daily wear. And maybe the distinction is I wear it in the house but nobody can see me, or I wear it out of the house, right? Even if that's your only distinction, you still want to separate their function in the closet so that when you're standing in the I can't wear it out of the house rod, you don't have good stuff mixed in with it, right? Suits, uniforms. Dress clothes. Everybody has fancy dress clothes, right? But you don't put them on. That's not part of your Monday through Friday day. The only time I have to put on fancy stuff is when I go to do a speaking engagement. Otherwise, I'm wearing scrubs. So my, fancy wear is farther down in the closet, and I have to get it, once a month, once a quarter, maybe if it's slow. You have fancy dress that you don't wear very often either. And I know it's pretty and it costs a lot of money and you want to look at it. But it doesn't need to be in the middle of what you would wear to work, right? So separate that stuff out. So think of your clothing in terms of, this is the stuff I wear to work and I need to be able to get my hands on it. And when you wash and put it away, it needs to go back in, and this is what I'm wearing to work place, right? So that you can always put your hands on it. It doesn't matter when you come home from work and you're trying to figure out what casual wear the casual wear can be farther down the closet too. But you want to be able to get out of the house without being stressed. You want to be able to stand there and see the stuff that is about going to work, okay? Shoes are another thing. Girls are into shoes. Most guys have, there are exceptions, but most guys have a collection of shoes that is somewhere in a rational realm. And you can line them along the floor, okay? And it's a good, underneath the clothes, here's the shoes, the dress shoes go with the suits, the tennis shoes go with the casual wear. You can sort of attach the shoes to the clothes and be okay. There are girls who collect shoes like I collect beads. It's a collection thing, it's a fascination thing, it's an object thing. So, which means that you have way more shoes than you have space. Usually it's stopped being functioning collection and it becomes like a I love it collection. So it's usually bigger than the closet. So those kinds of shoes have to sort of be separated between I'm wearing these shoes most of the time because there's probably a slice that you're wearing most of the time. And then these are my drop dead, super fabulous shoes that I take out when I go out to dinner or whatever. And they may require a different discussion about depending on how big the volume is, a different discussion about where they're going to go. But ultimately, you want the shoes somewhere in the closet, under the clothes where you can see them, lined up, shoe rack, shoe tree, whatever you do, hang over the door, shoe rack, whatever works for your setup and closet. But you want it to be accessible, visible, easy in and out. So that you don't grab the blue shoe and go to the other part of the closet and grab the black shoe and look like an idiot at work, right? That would be less stressful if you could find your shoes. Okay. What else besides that? Oh, a lot of people ask me about sorting the clothes by color. How should you arrange, should it be by the type or by the color, or what's the right way? Well, there isn't a right way, but you want to filter it by how you decide first what you're going to wear. So some people think, I want to wear blue today. And then they go looking for blue stuff. And some people think, I want to wear khakis today. I want to wear those pants today. And so then they go looking for pants. So you want to arrange your closet based on how you pick first. If you are driven by color first, lay it out by color. If you're driven by style first, lay it out by style. You see the difference? So if you want to wear blue, you're going to put all your blue things together, pants, shirts, dresses, whatever, and go stand in the blue section. If you know you want to wear pants today, then you want to go to a pants section. So I guess I'm just saying that to say there's not any perfect way, but you can help yourself if you figure out when you're trying to decide what to wear, what do you think of first? How do you pick first? And then align the clothes that way, and it'll make it easier for you in the morning. Okay. Now you're clean and dressed. You need to eat, and you need to feed the dog. So next place you're gonna go is into the kitchen, right? And presumably find some food and get out the dog dishes and the dog food and whatever. I have also seen that process scramble in the chaos of I'm not quite awake and I don't know what to do and where is everything. This is a place that you can really help yourself by doing something that your mom did for you when you were a little kid, which was prep the stuff the night before. So you can do silly things like, here's the dog bowl, here's the next can, here's the spoon, and sit it all on the counter. So that you can stand there in your coffee haze stupor of I'm not awake yet, and you don't have to go find all the pieces in the kitchen, they're all in one place. And then the dog gets fed and you can clean it up when you come home, right? Getting your own food is something that you can do in advance too. Maybe you're going to put something in the microwave. Well, the night before you can take it out of the microwave, take it out of the package and take it out of the wrapper and wrap it up and put it back in the freezer. So you just have to grab it and stick it in the microwave and punch the button. It's silly things like I put the cup down with the coffee and the creamer, and then I can stand in one place and do it all at once. You know what I'm saying? Those little steps will make it easier and smoother for you in the morning. If you want to go out the house with, I want coffee cup to go, I want water to go, you can prep that stuff in advance. Make yourself a cup of water and put it in the fridge in a to-go cup so that you just have to open the fridge and take it out to leave the house. You see what I'm saying? Those little steps that your mom did the night before when you were, watching television or whatever, she was trying to make her morning go smooth and get you out of the house in the shortest amount of steps. And for me, it's really, because I'm a night person, I am not a morning person, so brain is not engaged. Any little step that I don't have to take in the morning is a good thing. I do with the cat food. I have 4 dishes, I have to, I pull all that stuff on the counter and sit it there, so I clean them the night before, they're ready to go. I have the least amount to do when I get up there in the morning. If you don't have pets, one less thing for you to do, right? And I bet your allotted time to get out of the house is smaller than mine. You've shrunk that time off of your calendar. Okay. If you get some food, if you feed the dog, if you are dressed and ready to go, now it's time to leave the house, right? And you're glancing at your watch. I know you are. And you're it's like, I gotta go. Okay, it's time. Go. And those, it's like you're looking at your watch. It's not quite 5 minutes to go. And then the next time you look, it's like 3 minutes after time. It's like, what happened? I was just looking and it's time to go, right? So suddenly you're in gear. And you go, okay, that means I gotta find the water I'm taking, the briefcase, the keys, the phone, the backpack of the stuff I have to have after, and my workout clothes, and yada, 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 right? And then you start the 15-minute race around the house to find all these things, and they're never all in the same place, right? This is the thing that derails people the most, that one little prep. It's so ridiculous. When you used to be in high school, you could sort of grab a few things and go, and if you were disheveled, your mother was horrified, but you didn't care. You just grabbed it and ran out and looked crazy. But we're not a teenager anymore, and we want to actually look sheveled. We want to look like we've got our stuff together when we leave the house. And you also don't want to be that stressed out. Like somehow when you're young, it seems fun to be racing the clock and grabbing it and running around like a maniac. But that stresses me out now. I don't want to be that wigged when I'm trying to get ready in the morning. So this prep, if you do nothing else that I say today, if you just take your keys and your phone and your purse or your wallet, the briefcase, the workout bag, and I'll put it all in a parking space ready to go out the door when you leave, this will make your life so much happier. Now I know a lot of us take our phones to the bed with us, or it goes into the bedroom with us. You've got to be able to pick it up and take it with you as you work your way out of the house towards the front door. But if you are clever and you plug it in at the front door, you won't get woken up in the middle of the night by the screen. The blue screens are bad for us. We watch them and we shouldn't. And It also means that the dentist won't call and wake me up at 8 o'clock. Like somehow I'm always the first one on the list when it's time to remind people about their appointments. It's like 8:00-000 seconds, the phone's ringing. You have an appointment. Why did you wake me up? I learned that a long time ago. So my phone is always in the other room because I don't want anybody calling me and waking me up. Parking that phone someplace so that you can get to it, but it's not going to disturb your sleep would be a good thing. The closer to the door, the better. And there's your purse, there's your wallet, there's your keys. And the thing about the keys, I don't know what it is about the keys. You have to use them to get in the door, like you have them in your hand when you open the door. So why not immediately turn around and put them on a hook and close the door? So that the keys are there. You won't need the keys again until you leave the house, right? So park them at the door and be done with it. I think that's the one that makes the most crazy because the keys are small and everybody loses them, right? And they get buried. It takes one piece of paper and the keys are gone.
And you have to figure out which pants you were wearing last night.
Yes, and you're trying to check the pants pockets and running around, right? So, yes, that is a good thing to do. That one lesson will save you a million hours trying to get ready, okay? All right. You're dressed, you're clean, you're out of the house. All right. So that's my list of stress-free improvements. We want you to be happy and healthy and running out the door and not tripping and falling and not in a panic and not with a run in your pantyhose. Nobody wears pantyhose anymore, what am I talking about? And not with the wrong color shoes on, right? Okay, so who has a question for me today? This is your time to ask me, this is my problem, this is the thing that I do terrible about getting out of the house. Yes, ma'am.
I just wonder why the time in the morning goes so fast, and it doesn't go that fast when I used to work.
What is that about?
I don't know. So I wondered if there was a solution.
It may be a function of,
Yeah,
the older you get, the faster it goes by.
I don't know.
Yes.
There's something wrong with it.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes I think that so for people that are ADD, they view the world all in present, like they're always in the present moment. And so they don't do well recognizing the passage of time. And so people that are ADD sort of have more frantic moments because they don't realize that they've been standing at the counter and 15 minutes has gone by, and that was half of their getting dressed time, right? So some people do not have a good perception of time, and there's coping skills for that. There's a product called Time Timer, which is a clock that has a red sleeve that creates a visual of the passing of time. So if you want to look at 20 minutes, you can pull the dial and get a 20-minute pie of red. And then you start it and the red shrinks slowly over time. So you see visually the 20 minutes going by. And for people that are ADD, that's a really great visual cue. Okay, and my 20 minutes is up because my little pie is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's just a function of how you perceive time, and some of us are better at it than others, just like some of us are better at directions than others, right? Yeah. Who else? You have looked so stressed through this whole conversation. Can I pick on you for a minute? Yeah. Okay. So, sorry, not trying to stress you out. Okay.
That's right.
So, can you tell me a little bit about why this was a hard conversation for you?
Oh God, where do I start?
Just pick one.
I have so much crap in my house.
Can anybody relate to her?
Building another house. And I'm not lying. Alex, my husband, hi, love you. When I moved into my brand new house 7 years ago, it was a 4-bedroom house for a single female. Smaller bedrooms, but it was like a master bedroom, and I had this and that and the other thing. I had a home office, I had a home gym, and a guest bedroom.
Right.
And I have acquired goldfish syndrome, I believe he says. And I have filled that entire space up. So I had it where it was functional until I got married and someone else moved into my space, and I'm an only child and I don't share well.
Okay, so pause. How many of us can relate to this? Right? Everybody in the room, okay, first of all. Second of all, every marriage has this problem.
Yeah.
the more adult you are, the more complete your house is, and the more of a problem it is to merge two households. So that whole merging thing suddenly means that everyone has to get rid of 50% of their stuff, and no one takes that well.
No, and I don't.
Okay?
I don't.
And no one plans for that well.
Yeah.
Like in the happy glow of I'm getting married, you never think, oh, and I'm going to have to give up 50% of my stuff. And then you come from the honeymoon and go, oh my God, I can't get in the house, right? So that's an overnight chaos creator, getting married and moving in together, okay? You go one weekend and the moving truck shows up and it's ruined overnight. So you're not having a unique problem to you, okay? First of all, please continue.
So, yeah, I like stuff. So he's laughing at me, like the shoe part, just my head went down because I'm a shoe collector. And because the new house that we're building, I have a shoe closet being built because I like my shoes. I may or may not have 150 pair of shoes. It's okay, it's my problem. I own it, but I like my shoes.
You like your shoes,
I like
get
my
it.
shoes. And I'm all about fashion and all this other stuff, so when I find something I like, I get it in multiple colors and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, this car ride home is going to be so painful.
Okay, so pause.
That.
You don't get to bust her chops on the way home. She's taken enough of it today, okay? Be nice.
Oh, it's not.
Okay.
I'm good. Like I said, this was her idea. So.
Right. So, I want to say to you, a lot of us think that the solution to keeping the stuff is to have a bigger house. So the problem is that it doesn't matter how big the house gets, you will continue to fill it. And you will be in this position whether you have 20,000 square feet or 1,000 square feet.
That's why I need to fix it now.
Yes, ma'am. And
I don't
that's
want
good
this
planning
to
on your
happen-
part.
I don't want this to happen when we move in like a month from now.
Yes. So step one, in planning for the new house, you can go back and do the collective conscious merging that you probably didn't do well the first time, right? When you got married.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time to go, I really like this piece of furniture, but I don't really like that one. Which set of silverware are we going to use? And let's let the other one go. Let's, go through and make your choices about one of everything instead of two of everything, right? The second thing is, do not move anything that you do not want. There is no reason on earth, ever, to pay someone to move something that you're going to give to Goodwill at the other end. You don't have that much money, right? Like that's just a waste of time and money. To pay the mover to pack it and to move it so that you can unpack it and decide you don't want it and drive it to Goodwill. That's just money down the drain. So you want to do, when's the house going to be complete?
Probably late next month, early March.
Okay. Given construction delays, maybe late March?
Well, that's what I said, with the update, they're telling us now that they're actually moving it
Sliding.
up. They moved it up. So
Oh,
I was like,
wow. All right.
yeah, they overshot it, so I was
Okay.
like, okay. So let's say early March.
Okay. So early March gives you
A month.
a month and a smidge, depending,
Yes.
to go through and make some heavy choices. Now's the time for you guys, before they start packing, to go through and look at all the stuff and say, let's cut this in half, let's let that go away, let's, make things disappear, let's donate, let's get rid of. So that you can take less to the house, only have there what you want, and you can have breathing room in your spaces. So then when you get into the new house, the thing that you need to remember is not all drawers, closets, storage spaces, counters need to be full or covered. There can actually be air in there. So you want to aim for air. If you can get into the pantry and see around the cans and see the back wall of the pantry, you're doing good. If you can be in the closet and there's air around the clothes, you're doing good. You don't have to fill every shelf. You don't have to fill every cabinet. You do not have to fill every drawer. Aim for air. And I say that because I had a client who lived in River Oaks, and she was prepping to sell this really big house. And when she hired me, she said, I want to open every drawer and every cabinet and see space. I want to see air. I don't want to see stuff. Awesome, that's what we went for. And when we were done, there were all sorts of shelves that were blank. There were drawers that were empty. There were things that were empty because she clearly did not need, her kids were gone, she was divorced, she did not need all that space. So aim for error. So the problem is that when we're making decisions about what stuff to keep, especially if we love stuff and we like to collect, part of the decision-making process is, I really like this. I can put it here. And you go and put it in a place instead of saying, do I really need this? Am I going to use this? You don't filter it enough. You just ask yourself whether you have a place to squirrel it away or not. If that's the first question you ask, the answer is always going to be yes, I can squirrel it away, especially in a bigger house. And then you'll keep more and you will give up your air quickly. Don't let that be the first question. Be ruthless. Do I really need it? Am I going to really use it? Do I have something that I like better? Don't take the broken vacuum cleaner with the good vacuum cleaner. That kind of stuff. Okay? Okay. Thank you for letting me share and dive into your life. You just had such a pained look on your face over there while I was talking. I was like, oh. Would you like to add anything, husband?
I would.
Please.
We both kind of have the same issue in this is, how do you address, if there's like one linchpin area where if it falls apart, the rest of it just goes to hell, and it's like, unless that one focal space is tidy, like that is what is the obstacle to just getting everything else in order? Whether it's a dedicated room or a dedicated space or whatever, it's like, well, if that's not done, then the rest of it kind of doesn't matter.
Okay, so without seeing your house and discussing the exact thing, I would say that you're probably letting that be a barrier. Because the truth is, if it's a problem in one area, it's a problem everywhere. And you cannot simultaneously organize the whole house at once, right? Like there's no way to do, if I get this one place done, then it's all gonna fall like dominoes in place. That may be true, but if you can't get to the one place, you can't stop the process, right? You may have to work around. There's always another area you can work in. I would talk yourself through, maybe this is exactly the path that I would like to do because it feels like it would be the most efficient. But if we can't make it happen that way, here's the second choice or the third choice or the fourth choice that will still get something done. Does that make sense? Don't hang yourself up on it. It is an attempt to not face there's some part of that is if I say that I can only do it this way, then I don't have to face being overwhelmed by this process. Right?
Well, sometimes you don't have enough time.
And sometimes you don't have enough time.
The guests are coming in 2 days and the guest room is full of stuff.
Right?
You know? So that's when you just start cramming stuff in the closet. Or, you don't have time to make those thoughtful decisions.
Yes, it's true. And you don't want to, well, some people use the visit of the mother-in-law or the, my friends are coming to stay with me for a week to motivate you, right? But if your project is bigger than a prep for the visit kind of project, if you have to do the whole house instead of just the guest room, you're probably not going to have time for that. So stash if you have to, but you're going to pay me to come unstash later, right? Because once you stash it, it never comes to the top of the list to de-stash. You don't ever take it back out, right? You just shove it. So just today, and I'm sure my client will not care that I said this, we were upstairs in a bedroom, and we were going through boxes of paper, and we were looking at mail from 2005. So it was a stash of mail that had been put in a box and put into the thing and had been buried, and we uncovered it, and here was a stack of mail from 2005. Because it went in and it never comes out, right? Unless you seriously face your, task and go at it, once you squirrel it, and it can be closed behind a cabinet, you got better things to do, and it's going off the list, right? So resist the urge to squirrel, except in emergency. And I would say There's a couple of times, like, somebody's coming, I gotta clear the guest room. That's a reasonable one. And the serious one is, someone has died in the family. I can't deal with this stuff because I'm upset. I'm grieving, it's not a good time. And I concur that it is the worst possible time to make decisions. So you're gonna squirrel it for a couple of years before you circle back, because it's gonna be too hard to do it otherwise, right? So that's the one time that the Clutter Fairy says it's better to put it in a storage unit for 2 years than to put it in your house. But you're spending money for your mental health. You're paying the storage fee, and it's not cheap to not deal with that emotion right now while you process your grief. But you don't want to pay that rental fee into Kingdom Come. You want to stop it at some point. So don't rent forever. Don't use a storage unit for forever. You guys have storage units? Yeah, okay. So it's a good place to stop. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for everyone who has had a storage unit and freed themselves of it.
Ooh!
Me too.
Yay. Right? And that's like money back in your pocket.
That was a big deal.
Well, and that's the interim step from I'm not ready to build a house yet. Like I've stuffed all the places in my house, and now I need a storage unit to stuff things in. That's like the half step before I'm building a bigger house. And sometimes people say to me, it's like it's the macro version of, do I need another file cabinet? When people ask me and we're looking at all the paper, and they always say, do I need another file cabinet? And I always say, no. No. I guarantee we don't need another file cabinet. We just need to get some of your paper out of here. Like the 2005 mail that is no longer necessary, right? So the bigger the project, the more you've squirreled, the more time it's going to take you to unroll, right? You can't get it all done in a weekend. You can't get it done. You guys have a time frame that's pretty compact. I would look for, big hits, easy decisions, get as much out as you can. You're probably going to end up moving stuff because you don't have time to get it all done. But if you, as much as you can get out, awesome, and then you can pick up the task on the other end. If you have enough time to plan, if you're not about to move, then you start having an infinite amount of time, and you can make your way around the house slowly. We were just having this conversation with retired people. A lot of people say, I'll deal with this when I retire, right? And then they retire and they're like, I don't want to deal with that. I want to go out with my friends. I want to go on traveling. I want to go to that craft store. I want to go, I want to have a party. I don't want to mess with the crafts, the crap in the corner, right? So if you are telling yourself that you're going to deal with it later, you're not really telling yourself the truth. It's still going to be there, and it's still going to be a chore. There's never going to be a time when clearing the clutter suddenly becomes fun or entertaining for you. It's only entertaining for me. I like to do it, and so it's fun. But most people only find it as a chore. It's like, you got to brush your teeth. There's nothing fun about that. It's a chore, and you just got to make space for the chore. And you don't want to wait until you're retired. You want to do it while you're not retired, so that when you are retired, you can do whatever the hell you want, right? Who else has a question? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just kind of the opposite of you guys. And one reason why we got rid of the storage room was because we bought a bigger house.
Right.
And so we could weed out a lot of things. And my husband actually moved a bag of hardened cement, no longer the powder, to our new house. When he wasn't looking, I threw it away. But we did get rid of a lot. And move forward.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, because he was
A hardened cement?
Yes.
Meaning like it was in a bag and it was powder and it had gotten humid or wet and had turned into a rock.
He didn't think it was right to put in the trash can because the trash man might hurt themselves or something.
Well,
I
yeah,
had putting it in my car and getting rid of it.
That is awesome! I love it.
They're not that big, it's
Right.
It's not constructed. The deal is now is everything's changed. I am a widow now. All 3 kids have left. So now I got the big house with no storage, but a lot of stuff. And I knew I needed to come here. I found a pencil the other day that was an award pencil for no absences in the 6 weeks. And my last kid,
So that pencil was probably 20 years old. That's hilarious.
And I want to get excited about just throwing that stuff away, but you never kind of get over, at least I haven't, that one day you may need that pencil, even though it's not,
Right?
or you worked hard for it, and so it goes back in the junk drawer. I want to get excited about just, yes!
So here's how you do that. You do the stuff that's easy for you to make decisions about. If pencils are hard for you, don't start with pencils. But do the stuff that's easy for you. Everybody has things in the house that are super hard to make decisions about, and vice versa, right? So start with the easy stuff, load up the car a lot, make a whole bunch of trips where you offload things, and get the juice of woohoo! My 4th carload out the door, right? It will give you the sensation of what it's like to be post the stuff. Because part of the anxiety is, oh God, what if I need it? But then when you let it go and you live without it for 2 weeks and you realize you haven't needed it and it's okay, or you're an intelligent enough human that you can figure out a workaround. If you can't find that pencil, you can probably find something else to write with, right?
Yeah, I don't need that pencil, it's just
Yeah,
less
but it's a good example, right? And so it's that whole, if I let this stuff go and I suddenly need one of those 50 things I just took to Goodwill, what bad thing is going to happen? And the truth is not. You live in Houston, you can recuperate. There are other ways, there are other solutions to do it, and you're smart enough to figure it out, right? So you just have to get used to, I let it go, it's been 2 weeks, and it really has been okay. And it's an adjustment in your thinking about the stuff, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's like a muscle exercise. The more you do it, the easier it gets. You make some decisions, you have a panic attack, you let it go, 2 weeks go by, you do it again, and it gets easier and easier. Most clients, when I'm working with, by the time they call me, they have a really big problem and they're really stressed out about it. They're really overwhelmed. And so we have to start really slow, and sometimes the decision making is really torturous. And it's really slow making, okay, but what about, how are you going to use this? We have to ask a whole lot of questions about everything, and it takes a long time. But usually after I've been working with somebody for a while, they reach a point where they're like, I get it now. It churns for them. They like turn the corner, and then the decisions start going really fast.
That's what I want to get. I mean, I'm ready to move.
Yeah.
I'm ready to get it done.
Then you're in the exact right place. Get started, and you will get to that place.
I want to tell you a success story that I learned from you 3 meetings ago.
Oh, thank you.
We moved this, another thing he had to move is
No resentment there.
Well, finally there's a new shelf. But anyway, it was an ugly shelf that my uncle had given to me, but it was
a shelf, like
just
a shelf.
a shelf. He liked it. I don't know why. And it was stuck in the guest bedroom. And the next day, after the meeting, I went and bought those little scoocher things.
Oh yeah, the sliders.
And I got them out and put it on the driveway, and it was gone.
Urban recycling, baby. Awesome.
And this shelf wasn't even that great. I don't know why. He favored he liked my uncle, but it was so good. It was
Right?
so awesome.
And you didn't have to carry it anyway. You just had to slide it down to the end of the driveway.
And someone used it.
Yay!
And I didn't have to drive it to Goodwill.
Right? Exactly. That's awesome.
Did you put
Thank
a free sign on it?
No.
They just knew.
They just picked it. Like it's
On
the end of the curb. It's free.
go.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Friday in our neighborhood is heavy trash or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's when I noticed these
People
trucks
cruise the
all
neighborhood.
around.
Yeah,
And
they're looking to pick stuff, right? Yes, ma'am.
Or sometimes when you're going through your clothes, if you have a friend with you to do it, it's more fun. Or like your sister or whatever.
Or more brutal.
Yeah. Or you laugh like, oh,
Right?
why did I keep this from the 90s? And then, you put it away. Well, you try it on because it's funny. And then you
give it away, right? Well, exactly. Every task is cut in half by sharing, right? And it makes it easier. And your friend's gonna look at you and go, no. They don't have the sentimental attachment, and they're gonna tell you, no, it's not back. No.
And then it's not a lonely process. Though.
Exactly, and it's not dull and irritating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of why people are paying me too. Yes, sir.
Just out of curiosity, I would love to know what some of the most amusing items people have come across in these declutters. Because I know one that we ran across was a New Kids on the Block digital wristwatch.
New Kids on the Block digital wristwatch, collector's item, right?
According to her.
It's valuable.
It's valuable, it's very, very valuable, right?
It's still in the packaging.
Right?
Yes.
I love that. Anybody have an object? You had an object. No?
I'm trying to remember, well, I was thinking of one of your clients, if it's not too indiscreet to say,
Go ahead.
I'll
Color it, you know.
I'll color it just a little. It was a dead insect
Oh, I forgot.
that
Okay.
was kept on purpose.
Okay, so this was one of my artist clients, right? Who's very creative, and this is what she does. And so she had found a bee, a little bumblebee, and she thought it was precious and beautiful, and so she saved it. And as I was working with her in her creative area, up comes the box with the bee in it. I was like, "Can we throw this out?" No. It's the beautiful bee. You can't. And I'm like, "Okay, you're being an artist right now. Cool." So we had to save the bee. Yes, that was very interesting. Who else? Did you have something?
This applies to her, at least if not everybody. I just cleared out one of those really supposed to be on your door, but I had put it in back of a door, 2 of them, for the shoes.
Oh yeah, the little compartment things with the
Canvas
pockets and
ones
stuff.
with the- Yeah, you put a pair of shoes.
Right.
I went to using this one principle I heard from a fairly trendy organizer, idea person that wrote a book. Put all your things together of one kind, and no matter how long it takes you, call that out to be, give away, whatever. Well, I was pulling all my shoes together, and I was trying to pull all the shoes off that and put them in another room, which has become my dressing thing.
Area.
Guess what? I'm not going to name for your video, I'm not going to name the brand, but there's a certain brand, I guess. They're great shoes. They're very comfortable. They're not the prettiest always, but I went to pull them out, and the soles had turned into like this tar that was getting off of my hands. And those things weren't more than 10 years old. Anyway, the point is, after a few years, most things start becoming unusable, or dulled, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's good to start thinking earlier than I did when you're younger. Give away things that somebody else could use.
Before they die.
Pencils. I've had kids in my tutoring class and seen kids in classrooms that had their pencil down to this long, 2 knuckles, and they were still using it because they didn't happen to own another pencil.
Oh.
And an eraser. Oh boy, if you took some erasers to some schools and just pass them around at lunch, they would think they were in heaven. A few of those kids. For sure.
Exactly.
A bunch of the kids.
Exactly.
But anyway, and the principle of trying to cull it down to all you have space for.
Yes.
Like the CDs, I'm not going to name a copyright infringement or something, but cull it down like if you have a whole bunch of CDs, but you only have this much space you're going to store them
It
in.
has to fit the space.
You now have to cull out every
And you can
7
think of the
months.
house in that way too. Like the house only has so much space, and when all the drawers and the cabinets and the closets are full and the stuff starts to spill out into the walking area or up against the wall, you're starting to fill the cubic volume of the cube that is your house. You're running out of space. You have exceeded your cubic volume of the house, right?
What do you think, Gail? What do you think Bill Gates does? It's like he can afford to go bigger and bigger and bigger, and he does.
Yeah.
But so he just never limits what he collects, I guess.
Well, never been in his house, can't say. Yeah, don't know. And everybody can buy more and store more. Oh goodness. Everybody can buy more and store more, but do you really want to? Then you just have to hire people to manage it. Right? The more that you own and the more you store, the more you have to manage. Yes, ma'am.
Several years ago, I came across bikini bathing suits. Now you can imagine how long ago that was.
Right, that's a good one.
And
the elastic is falling apart. Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, he's asking me to repeat it. She said that she found bikinis that had been some times that she wore them, and then you pick them up and they all have that elastic stuff, and you pull on it and the elastic just crinkles and crumbles because it's so old. Yeah, there's a lot of petroleum-based products in our life that die long before you're done with them. So I'm getting the hook again.
The sneakers.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna wrap it up and we're free to talk afterwards. Thanks, everybody. Bye.